Welcome to the Life Around 40 podcast, where three longtime friends dive into games, pop culture, the chaos of everyday life, and the eternal questions: what the hell is going on, and how the hell did we get here? Here are your hosts, Drew Taylor, and myself, Graham.
Hello, hello.
Howdy, howdy.
Hello, gentlemen. How are we this week?
Cranky.
I hear that. I totally understand that.
It's early in the week, but it don't feel like it.
Yeah.
It feels a lot later.
Yeah, it's when I looked at the calendar today, and I was like, "It's Tuesday. Great, awesome."
Yeah. I'm trying to get the kids ready for school here in 2.5, 3 weeks. Moving bedrooms around, rearranging basically the whole house. It's a wreck over here. I worked all weekend doing family stuff. And
The joys of family.
I love it. Love every minute of it.
So, how about you, Taylor? Anything good this week? Past week? Do anything fun?
Well, no, I had Saturday was my birthday.
Oh,
so,
happy belated, buddy.
Happy
Oh,
birthday.
thank you. So, just kind of went and just seen family for a little bit and talked to a few people here. My brother actually just got back from Colorado a couple days before, so saw him again. And then I don't know if you know, there was do you have either of you happen to know Patrick Bailey?
No.
He was, it have been like, it's a big gap. Like, I knew him because he ran cross country, but he was like a seventh grader when I was a senior. Well, Graham and I are seniors, so huge gap. I just didn't know, if some sort of familial tie, like, oh, that's a cousin of a cousin
Nah,
or something. But
where we grew up, it wouldn't surprise me. But no,
well, that's why I threw it out
Yeah.
there. But he was with my brother and stuff, and so I saw him, and it was kind of nice because he we had rugby. We were, for whatever reason, we were playing rugby for cross country practice, and the coach had allowed the 7th and 8th graders boys to join in our reindeer game, and I somehow bloodied Lincoln. I bloodied his nose,
Okay.
and I don't recall how, but I will say I probably egged on after the fact of teasing about it and stuff, and he got mad. He was real mad. He was like,
I would imagine.
like raging bull, kind of saw some red, and he was just like, I'm gonna get you next scrum. I'm gonna get you. I'm like, okay. Next scrum comes around, and he goes barreling for me, but I hop out of the way, and he levels Patrick Bailey. And so he levels this 7th grader, and he knocks the wind out of him, and he's just lying face down in the dirt. And then when it's like, okay, we're done, no more rugby,
Yeah.
this is over with, and like it just snapped out of it, and he was like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, every time I see Patrick, that's
That's the story. Oh yeah.
That's the
You gotta
story
bring
that
it
comes
back up. Yeah.
or he brings it up, and it's just kind of like, yeah. And he knew. I thought I told him before, but this time he was just like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think I just went to swipe at the ball or something and accidentally caught his. Well, yeah, duck down or something. Who knows? But you guys know me. I'm not really gonna be like swinging at somebody, especially somebody like Lincoln, for just like no reason to be like, oh yeah.
It's
not really.
That's very true. But I also learned when you were trying to show me a little boxing, I took one on the chin, and I was like, yeah, I got it. We don't need to do that anymore. So, all right. Yeah, I wasn't.
It's a love
expecting
tap.
that.
Come on now.
Oh,
love
yeah,
tap.
okay, sure. Excuse me.
What about you, Burns? What do you do this weekend?
Yeah.
Well, the girls, my daughters start cheer. Not sure how I feel about that whole thing. So they just got done with their cheer camp, and their official practices start this week. They're moving from elementary school into middle school.
Yeah.
And I think I was underappreciating how different the dynamic of like sports and activities are in middle school compared to elementary school. A lot more committed, a lot more activities. There's like fundraising, and they were in the 4th of July parade, and it's like, whoa, our calendar is like completely filled now with cheer stuff.
Mm.
So just working through that. And then I had a cousin come over and visit who lives over in jolly old England. So her and her husband and kids are over visiting. So went over, hung out with them for a little bit. It was nice to catch up. We'll see them again later this week. But no, it's been pretty much it. Just doing some family stuff and, getting in the groove of things with their new cheerleading schedule and stuff. So
Exciting.
yeah, it's that stage of life where you're doing that or you're at work. So it's
Yeah.
there's really no other. But no, it wasn't a bad week. Like you guys said, I can't believe it's only Tuesday this week. I'm ready for it to be the weekend already. It's been a long, long week. Plus, as I'm sure everybody can tell, I've got a head cold, so my allergies are not really being nice to me right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
middle of summer, getting a head cold. That's just rough.
There's like almost 3 times a year, 4 times a year where I'm guaranteed to get one. It's normally around season change, so I'm kind of surprised I got one. But I was doing some job walkthroughs for our CODA down in Columbus, the transit authority, and I had to ride around on some CODA buses and go to all these CODA bus stops. So there's a good chance I might have gotten something from that as well. So
Were you at the bus depot where all the buses kind of go?
I hit all of them. We hit 14 different buildings.
So I did one of the CODA facilities 1,000 years ago. It feels like for Siemens, and man, I just remember I was in the IT room one day, and you see something out of the corner of your eye, and you kind of, oh look, there's a German Shepherd. Oh, and look, there's a man carrying a rifle. And I'm like, hey, I was like, is there anything I should be concerned with? He goes, we're just doing a bomb search. I was like, you know what? Do you need me to leave my stuff, or do you want me to take my stuff? I'm out. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with that. But it was just the governor. He was coming in for like the grand opening of the building. So they were just checking it, but I'm like, I'm not sticking around. If there's potential bombs, I don't need to be involved.
Well, especially with your history of bombs and leaving work bags unattended. Yeah, I can understand.
You closed 2 buildings and a couple of streets during rush hour, and you're remembered forever.
Yeah, suddenly you're a bad guy. Yeah, for sure. No, that's hilarious. So I think I can honestly say you're the only friend I've ever had that's had a bomb threat called in on. So, yeah, I think you're
I
the
did
only one.
not threaten a bomb. I couldn't find my bag.
Yes, he left his bag unattended in a place he shouldn't have. So
The building was under construction.
yeah, that's what surprises me. It's a construction building. You would think they would know, like, but if you don't mind me asking, what year was this?
Oh gosh,
If
it
you could
was
just a range.
it was
even?
post 9/11. I would say it was around
Okay.
2006, 2007.
So everybody was still pretty heightened, I would imagine, around that time.
Yeah, and I mean when you look in my bag, there's some broken circuit boards, some loose wire, odds and then miscellaneous things. Just as I found broken parts, I just shoved them in the old backpack and I'd replace them, and it probably looked like a bomb to the untrained eye. I won't lie.
Well, I mean, how else are you going to build a bomb if you're not picking up scrap processes and
Right.
stuff everywhere, Circuit
Yeah, fair enough.
boards.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, I say we're at a good point. Let's go ahead and roll into our topic of the week. Taylor,
Oh boy,
it is your turn.
exciting! So yeah, I want to talk about motivation and drive, because I find those to be very interesting things, but also it's good to like kind of differentiate like what is motivation and what is drive. And the way that I at least think of it and explain it to myself, motivation is the goal. Drive is the habit that makes you reach the goal.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys would agree with that, or you have your own kind of spin on it.
Drew, would you like to start?
Sure, yeah. So for
Go
me, we're probably similar. Motivation is getting off of my butt. And then once I start completing tasks, I get that endorphin drip. And then that's where I get my drive. Now, if a bunch of things go wrong, drive gone, motivation gone. So motivation gets me off the couch, drive keeps me going.
Okay. So I'm an idiot. and did a little
No
research
arguments. No
because
arguments.
I was like,
I mean,
I don't know that I
he's
really
setting
want
it
to.
up. Why knock it down?
Yeah,
Like
we're playing
it just
t-ball
looks so
here,
nice.
so playing
Like,
t-ball.
just leave it as is.
So I looked it up because I was like, I'm not totally sure I know the difference between drive and motivation. And what the Google machine, because it is the obtainer of all knowledge and owner of all knowledge, kind of informed me was motivation could kind of be seen almost as like a short term thing. Like, I don't know. So, like, I listed motivation for me as it can be more of a superficial thing in the sense of like, oh, I want to look better or I want a promotion or whatever. Drive is more of like a long term driving force. So, like, motivation in my life is to make more money, is to look healthier or thinner or whatever it might be, get a membership at the country club. Drive is what fuels me in my legacy. My kids are my drive. My wife is my drive. My family is my drive. Motivation. So it kind of fits in with the hey, this is what gets me up off the couch. The motivation is the drive is what pushes me through that grueling part of like I don't want to be here. This sucks, but I have to do this for my family. I have to do this for my wife. I have to do this for my legacy, if you will. What are you going to be remembered by when your friends gather around you on your deathbed and your grandparents are talking to, your kid, or not your grandparents, your grandkids are going to be talking to your kids. What was grandpa like? That's the kind of thing I think that is the drive is behind is what you want to be remembered for.
I think probably a way to boil that down too would be motivation is an external, drive is an internal
Yeah.
combustion kind of thing going for it. But yeah, so is you kind of rattled off of a few different things there, like for motivation wise. Is there anything that you you have for yourselves? So like for me, one of the things I have for motivation is like I've got the little books that I'd be writing there. So I've got two, but I'm working on third one. And to add to that layer of it is that I'm wanting to make it into a 3-part sort of little mini series for these books. Um, so it's kind of like, okay, I've got that. But then I'm just like, all right, well, I've got to focus. Got to, block off an hour to be like, okay, I need to write or I need to be editing. And it's just kind of like the knuckle down. Everything gets blocked out and we got to do that. So, is there anything like I, mentioned the books and stuff for myself? What things that motivate you guys yourselves?
Go ahead, Graham.
Um, I mean,
Besides your wonderful family.
well, motivation would be like wanting to look more attractive for my wife. So she doesn't leave me for Harry Styles because I get that threat all the time. She says if she meets Harry Styles, it's over and that I'll never see her again.
Who's Harry
So,
Styles?
He's a singer apparently from One Direction.
Oh,
Don't if you looked him up, you would never imagine that's what she's into, but apparently it is. So that and like I said, I feel like a lot of my motivations feed into my drive in the sense of like a motivation is to get a promotion. Well, that's to earn more money. So in the long run, I have more financial stability for my family, charity work, whatever it might be. So I feel like a lot of my motivations are kind of on the surface, superficial in a sense. Um, but I feel like a lot of them can be transitioned into long term benefits of like, yeah, I want to look better for my wife, but it's going to make me healthier too. It's going to extend my life potentially. Um,
Hmm.
things like that along those situations. And a lot of it too is where I actually struggle with motivation is like creative spaces. I mentioned before in a previous episode, I'm a big animation guy. I can't draw to save my life. I've wanted to be able to draw my whole life. And it's one of those things I know if I really got some motivation and knuckled down, it's something that you can learn. It's not, most of the time it's a developed talent. And it's just getting off my butt and taking the time to dedicate to doing it every day, even if it's for a little bit here and there. So I struggle when it comes to stuff that's not really super impactful on my life, and it's more something I just want to do. So, whereas like for the writing for you, that's easy for you. You know, it's something you enjoy, it's a goal you have, and you're able to lock in and take care of it. I struggle with that. So,
Mm, right. Well, that kind of also ties into probably some aspects of like a legacy in some way, right? Because like I don't have kids or anything, so it's that probably ties into that to some degree, though it's not something I really think about, maybe on a subconscious level.
mhm.
Um, but it's more of, I mean, you guys know me, that's just always been writing stuff for a very long time,
Yeah,
and it's more of just kind of something that something I do,
yeah, I get that.
poorly or otherwise.
Well, what about you, Drew?
Beside like, I agree with you 100%. Like my primary motivation and drive is to support my family and make sure they have all their needs, not wants, accounted for.
Yeah,
I try to take care of the wants that have value that will help them in life. But on like the more personal stuff, it's I like I'm a tinkerer. I like messing with things. And kind of goes back to my hobby too from episode 1. I like being thrifty and my other big one is golf. You know, I will never be as good as I was, between the ages of like 17 and 22, just because I don't have the time and my body is old and broken. But I strive to still, people to be like, man, that guy can play. It makes me feel good. Everybody likes a little self motivation build up from other people. It makes you feel good about yourself.
oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. Um, so like I kind of mentioned with the like with writing, um, I have to like block off everything. I got to block off the noise, even when I don't want to, or it's kind of like brain starting to leak out the good ear, kind of thing, and it's just like, ugh, but it's you know focus, and that's really what it just kind of turns into for me for like a drive sort of thing. It is just kind of like a knuckle down behavior. Um, and
Well,
I don't know if either of you have a different thing, if you have like any sort of ritual, any sort of like kind of run around the house.
Um, mine's coming. The one that gets me is I get home from work, I'm hot, I'm tired. I'm in Houston, the one of the hottest, most humid places I feel like in America sometimes. Uh, just having the drive to get off the couch and do something with my young kids that want to go do something, whether it be biking, because we don't have a sidewalk, so they can't bike on the sidewalk, and people use my street as a raceway.
Hmm.
So we go down to the school or the church, and we'll hang out down there for an hour or two. Um, Taking them to the park. I got home from work late today, and I was like, "Let's go swimming." I was like, "Let's just go swimming and do something fun for an hour."
yeah,
Before you got to cook dinner and clean up that, and then get on here with you two gentlemen.
that's right. And priorities. I would say if I have a kind of ritual, it's kind of similar to yours in the sense of like I kind of have to block everything out and zone everything out. I achieve that a lot of times by I'll put on noise canceling headphones and I'll listen to chill hop or some very low key music. I can't have anything like super outgoing or loud. It's got to be kind of mellow to where I'm not focusing on the music. Can't listen to podcasts or anything because it'll pull my attention. Just trying to block everything out and focus on what I'm doing during that designated time. And it's a lot easier to do when I'm alone. When you're in a house with a wife and two kids running around, someone's calling for you, someone's beating somebody else up somewhere, screaming. So not only are you hearing that through your headphones, it's you also almost feel as a dad a responsibility like, well, I should be listening, and if something's going on, I need to be helping my wife.
Right.
Or if Brittany's calling me for something, I need to be able to respond. And me locking in to do whatever this thing is really isn't a good excuse to not be listening or helping during that period. So part of it's, locking in, blocking me out. The other part of it is finding a time where I can actually do that and not have a responsibility that I'm worried about as well. So, which is not really an excuse to not do it. It's kind of a cop out in some senses. And a lot of what you're talking about, Taylor, we've talked about this before. You're pretty good when it comes to discipline, and you are too, Drew. When you set your mind to something, you're most likely going to do it. Unless something out of your control stops you, you're going to take care of it. Discipline is something I've always struggled with. So a lot of it's just finding the discipline in myself to make myself do something. So
You just got to be a little bit more neurotic.
I have my own neuroses.
At least in my case,
okay?
the neuroticism will get me there.
So, but
but yeah, that is a good point there, because it's, I mean, they're different because they're different words, but the discipline kind of keeps the drive in focus. So you actually, because you could be driven and have all that energy for it, but then all of a sudden you get to that point and then it just sort of falls off a cliff. Because I think my dad actually struggles with that a little bit, with just having the discipline to go get over that
the hump
that
there.
initial burst
Yeah.
of starting to try to do things, and then it's like, okay, come on, let's go here, so
Yeah.
that is a really good distinction and observation to make on that. So.
And it's kind of interesting because I was raised by my grandfather, who is a former, Vietnam vet, and he was extremely disciplined, very disciplined, and it just did not trickle down at all. That was not a quality I got from him, unfortunately. So, but yeah, everybody's different. So,
gotcha. I was to say, is there I was like, I think it was pretty good. I just kind of thought, it's good to make that distinction. I didn't want it to be like too wild of a conversation, more of just kind of, you get to know us a little bit, and just little odds and ends and stuff. And I figured that would be a good way to paint that picture. So
yeah, you're starting this one off pretty deep right away.
Yes.
Just dive right into it. Get right into the psyche.
Yeah, that's what I do.
We have a 10-minute conversation, and I reveal to the world that I'm not disciplined. Awesome. This went really well.
So my favorite Graham story in that regards, his wife calls me one day, Drew, Graham won't take his heart medicine. The guy that needed a heart transplant in the near future wanted, so she's like, he'll listen to you. Just can you call him? I think I called Graham every day for like a year and a half. And if he didn't answer, I called his Nana. and finally Britt calls. He's taking his medicine. You can stop us. You got it, Britt.
I mean, sometimes you need people like that in your life. Unfortunately, apparently, I need them more than others. So.
I need you around. I need you around.
Yeah, who else? Who's going to be the third host? You have to replace me. That will be a 5-minute search. So.
Oh no.
But. All right. Does everybody feel like anything they want to add?
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, perfect. Yeah. Well, that's a good conversation, Taylor. Thanks for bringing that one to the table.
It's a little different.
So, all right. Next is the throwback segment, and it's mine, and it's kind of broad. I wish I could narrow it a little more, but it's kind of hard. My throwback is kind of 2D animation in general, and kind of the fall off and death of 2D animation. And the reason I wanted to bring it to the table was to discuss, how do you guys feel about 2D versus 3D animation? How do you feel about the industry, 3D pretty much overtaking the animation industry? And personally, I have a deep love for 2D animation. The stuff I grew up watching was 2D hand-drawn, or they did the cell animation like Disney did. How much of that is, the quality of the animation? Is it nostalgia on my part. I mean, how do you guys feel about where things are with that? If you have an opinion at all, this might be something only I think about.
I'd say no. So there was, when I look back on some of those old Disney movies and some of the great cartoons of the 80s, 90s, I mean, there's definitely a look and a feeling about it. You know, Kids today may think it's horrific, but I mean, it was like its own art form,
Yeah.
and it's something that I really appreciate, because I mean, you just think there's some poor schmuck sitting there just drawing, painting in cells, and then moving it just a little bit over to the side, man. It's just it was a labor of love to do that. Where now it's
Yeah.
just like you just got some guy cracked out on coffee, just moving his mouse vigorously across the desk. I mean, there's something about just it's like it had a little bit more life to it when everything was just done by hand.
Yeah. I feel like you could definitely feel the love a lot more in what they
Isn't
were
that what they say?
creating.
Soul, the soul,
Yeah.
isn't that what that?
Oh yeah, there's no
It's
soul.
got
Yeah.
that soul. Oh goodness. I'm not the 3D stuff definitely is hideous to me. It is quite the abomination. Um,
Tell me how you really feel, Taylor.
Yeah.
right. Well, because my thing always goes to like when I think 3D, I go to the worst examples of 3D, like Reboot and Beast Wars.
Oh, Beast Wars
Oh.
was
Oh, good
Beast
lord.
Wars was just very early days.
Yeah.
Well, right,
Yeah.
but that is like very early. That's yeah, that's always will stick in my head to be like, oh yeah, that is hideous, and I know it is not quite that now, but there's certainly it feels like with 3D, it doesn't have as many avenues to be expressive in a way. I don't know if that makes any sense, but just at least to me it feels like it's a little bit more constrained. Maybe it's because it's like the bodies for the figures are meshed in a way that it kind of clamps down on it, but that's kind of the vibe I get from it. And then 2D, like I always have a nice warm place in my heart for Bluth's work.
Oh, for sure.
um
Yeah.
yeah.
Iconic work.
Man, so it's just I grew up a bit more on that than Disney stuff. Not to say I didn't watch Disney stuff, but the Bluth stuff really stuck with me. So
Well, and to speak to what you're saying, it feels like it's a little constrained in the sense of the expressiveness and kind of thing. Well, I think that comes to the not only the added depth of realism that 3D does bring, it is a more realistic portrayal of what they're trying to trying to show. Um, it's I think it's just harder to be expressive in that area, and there's less, I guess, forgiveness when it's not correct. So like if you I've watched some 2D animations. One of my favorite ones, it's a wild thing to watch, is Sleepy Hollow from like the 70s.
It's a great one.
You know, not the Disney one. That is one
Not
of
the
my
Disney
favorite
one.
ones as well.
Okay.
Not the Disney one. This was done by another studio. Can't remember who they were. When you watch it, it looks like they were on acid when they drew it and animated. It's just insane looking, vibrant, wild colors. Like the legs on the characters are this big and the bodies are this big. It's just the strangest thing you'll ever watch. But you willing to sit through it because it's this 2D, this weird quirky thing. If I saw that in 3D, I'd have zero tolerance for that at all. I'd be like, that doesn't look like what it's supposed to. So I feel like the threshold of allowing stuff to be wild is not nearly as high with 3D as it is 2D. There's a lot more forgiveness given in 2D than there is 3D.
would it be forgiveness, or would it be that the disproportionate parts make it seem more comical? So it kind of, if you're going for something that's a little bit more trippy, it's going to be harder for it to be because you're pulling it away and it's kind of looking a little bit more like, oh, this is kind of goofy looking.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
what's that term they call when AI, not AI, but when 3D images look too human, it makes other humans it makes real humans
Oh,
uncomfortable.
the uncanny
Yeah, the
valley
uncanny
sort of.
valley. I wonder if it's part of that effect where it's like when you see something in a 3D space that's so far out of what you're used to seeing in a 3D space, it's unsettling. Whereas when it's flat on a 2D space, it's not near as unsettling. Our brains
Hmm,
don't trip as much as it does for a
yeah,
3D.
maybe.
Because I'll tell you what, when you come across Uncanny Valley, you feel it. You're like, something's not right here. It's like this gut instinctual feeling. Um, it's kind of interesting to read about Uncanny Valley. I've read some stuff on it, and it's pretty wild that the way the brain will perceive stuff that way.
Hmm.
So, um,
What do you think about talking about 2D, 3D? What about the next wave where you're just gonna have some keyboard warrior typing in, into Chat GPT to make the next Disney Pixar movie?
that's
Because
coming, dude.
it's
I mean, it's already a thing. Like
yeah.
yeah,
the what's the one that really big? Is it Rick Beato? Is that the? Do you know who I'm talking about? Musician
Mm,
or like music producer and stuff,
Huh.
talking about music and everything. Oh, I just watched a video he put out where he basically used two different um two different AIs to basically, maybe three. Regardless, just using a couple different AIs to make like random indie alternative rock music
Really?
with just a few prompts and stuff. Um, and it's like, oh yeah, this sounds like something you can just slap on there. Good, yeah,
Huh.
okay, yeah. It's it's
So,
like, oh my goodness.
I guess that's a good question too. How do you guys feel about AI in the art medium?
I mean, it's. I think what you're gonna end up with is a lot of samey kind of stuff. Um, the all these people are teaching their algorithms the basically the same methodology, or they're just surfing the darkest corners of the internet. So I think you're gonna end up with a lot of samey stuff, which is what I really see in the 3D art world too. I mean,
Yeah. It's how many of the last Disney releases that have come from like the Pixar studio and even it's like I can't tell the difference between I'm watching.
no,
You know, it all looks the same to
Hmm.
me.
you
I don't
you
want to
could
watch any of
literally
it.
you could take a character out of one, put it in another, and it fits.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate because I will say that old cell style animation at Disney, there were a lot of similarities. You could tell a lot of the same artists were working on that stuff. Um, Part of that was due to technological limitations at the time. Um, but I do feel like the problem is I don't know how to describe the uniqueness, but there was a uniqueness in those movies. I don't know if it was their music or how they were achieving it. Um, but I did feel like those all felt like very different movies. So like if you two pretty big differences, you look at the animation style of like The Lion King and then Snow White, they are very different. You know, you can definitely tell the technological advances there, them getting better at it. Um, but yeah, I feel like, and we're seeing that in video games too. You can only make 3D characters and 3D worlds look so real. I feel like we're starting to hit that limitation when it comes to games and movies of like we can't really make it any more real at this point.
And there's things about that I don't understand. If you want something to look real, just get some
Film
Go
actors
them.
and
outside.
put them out there. I like cartoons and things. Even as an old man here, I like cartoons because
Mm-hmm.
it takes me outside of the real world, which can be really crappy at times. And I get to see, a fantastical place. That's why I like, for real movies, Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, it really takes you into, this land of fantasy and whimsy. It's
Oh,
fantastic. I
exactly. And I go ahead.
Yeah, I just I go see movies, so I'm not grounded back in reality all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Which our industry is having a very big struggle with that, or not our industry, the industry is having a big struggle with that right now. Of everything's got to be a call to something going on currently. And I was listening to some movie reviewers the other day, and they're like, the biggest issue we have with it is in 10 years, it's not going to be topical. It's not going to age well because it's not a timeless concept or it's very on the nose for the current situation. it's not going to mean anything in 10 years or 15 years. So
The
whereas
only
these
movie
storybooks, these fairy tales have been around since the 1800s. So
timeless.
yeah.
The only movie I disagree with you on is Idiocracy. Back when it came out, it was
Well, yeah.
satire. Now it's
Now it's real.
now it's a documentary.
Yeah, now it's real.
Uh,
Um no, and Taylor, how much animation do you watch? You don't watch much of anything. We've discussed
I don't.
this.
Yeah. I don't watch a ton. Like, I still haven't even fully watched through the that first run of Castlevania, even though I did enjoy it. So, I'm like on season 3, somewhere in season 3. But
Oh, really?
yeah. So I don't watch a ton. And it's not like, oh hey, this is lame or anything like that. Like, I did end up picking up, for nostalgia's sake, the old Batman the Animated Series
Oh, that's
collection.
a great series.
So, and that one has the best Batman film on there. I'll fight anybody about it.
The Mask of Phantasm.
The Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, it is a great movie. That is a great
that's
movie.
phenomenal Batman film. And also I just really like the noir style, just like the art style of it. Like, I just appreciate,
Yeah.
I appreciate the art style of it, and the with the Art Deco, and or however they want to phrase it and everything. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, this is some really good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He was definitely
But-
compensating for something with the Batmobile in that film. That was
Just a little bit. Yeah.
now,
Now, I have seen some examples that it does interest me is they're starting to blend now 3D with 2D. So they're making these 3D worlds and they're putting in 2D characters and stuff. And some of that stuff is pretty interesting looking. Because you can point to some of the Spider-Man Into the Multiverse, I think it is. Like, they're very stylistic in their own way. They kind of blend those elements of like 3D, but then you'll kind of have that 2D feel through certain parts of it. So I think they're making some interesting stuff when it comes to that. It'll be interesting where it goes. But if I see some weird independent studio or something that's like releasing a fully 2D hand-drawn animation, I'm all about it now because they're so hard to find. You know what I mean? They're nearly impossible. They're not coming out anymore.
let's say, is it not coming out, or is it at least stateside? And maybe you can go spelunking outside of the states to try to.
You bring up a good point. I do watch a decent amount of anime. I don't watch a lot, but I watch a decent amount. And most of those are still kind of 2D, but they're digital. They still look very good. They're not hand drawn. But the thing I have there is when they try to put 3D elements into it, because you can tell it right away. Occasionally they'll do it. It stands out like a sore thumb, and it's like, don't do that. Just if you're going to draw a monster or some kind of mech, just draw it. And I get it; it can be labor intensive, but the way they treat those animators, they don't care. They'll put them through hell to get it done. So apparently it's awful to work over there in Japan as an animator. So that's what, at least everything I've heard is like they work them to death over there. So
Kudoshi.
But
work to death.
no, they a lot of good stuff is still coming out of there. So I think you're right. I think maybe if you step out of kind of the Western sphere, you'll find more of that stuff. Then it saddens me to see like the West not putting that stuff out anymore. When we have some timeless pieces of work out there. You're talking about Don Bluth, old Disney. There's just all kinds of different animation that used to come out. And especially now that we're getting to a period where cartoons and animation isn't seen for kids as much, the glut of terrible adult comedy animation that's out right now proves that. I mean, I swear Netflix and Fox releases a new stupid animated series that's trying to be King of the Hill and Family Guy and The Simpsons every day, and they're just terrible. I think that has more to do with writing right now in our country, which is you can see everywhere. There's no new ideas, no uniqueness. So it just sucks that we're finally at a point where it's like, yeah, adults can watch animation. I think part of it's because guys our age grew up watching that stuff and weren't really willing to let go of it. It's just, it's terrible. We're not doing as much old stuff and the writing is awful. So it's sad. It makes me sad.
Tell us how you really feel.
That's very sad.
So sad.
So sad. So sad. Oh, I kind of wonder if it's not the with the writing aspect, if it's a bit navel gazing or just kind of
Yeah.
a little too inward. Like you notice this with oh uh like a lot of main characters for like indie games and stuff kind of have a woe is me
Oh yeah.
kind of vibe to them. Not all of them, and sometimes they just get lost with, they don't. You get lost in that. There's not a push for some more silly things going on, um, but
Well, it's
you know,
it's kind of like what we talked the last episode. It seems like everything has to have a message, and they're trying to impress on you their message, and it's like I just want a story for fun. I just want a
Yep.
story for story's sakes. Not everything has to be a lesson, and there's better ways of. I feel like we've lost show, don't tell. You know what I mean? It's like show me it, don't tell me it. I assume that I'm smart enough to figure a message out. But who knows? Maybe with our society today, we can't do that anymore. I don't know. So, but I feel like we've really lost that show, don't tell. So,
let's see, Drew, do you have a thought?
No, not generally.
No.
I don't.
I mean, I know you don't, but I'm asking just in case if one happens to like come to the forefront.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing about a lot of times for more recent, particularly with movies, because they're combating people who are like paying attention to their phones or they're with other people, so
yeah.
it's not as much attention, that basically it is being made in ways that it allows for you to not have to pay attention to it nearly as much, so you can just be like, okay, all right, I caught like the first 3 minutes of it, I'm going to kind of be checking my phone or something, and if I look back up I'll still know what's going on.
Yeah, they actually, I think they have a term. I think they call that the second screen experience. And they're starting to create stuff now that because they know people are at work watching YouTube while they're working, just listening or whatever.
No,
That's never happened
No,
to me.
not
I've never
me.
done that. So yeah, there's like a whole genre of media they're putting out now that they're calling like the second screen experience. That is literally for you that you're going to watch kind of in the background. So there is some truth to that there. I mean,
Some chameleon eyes going there.
exactly.
One on one screen, one on the other.
Well, unless anybody, I think we've beat this horse. Unless anybody else has something they want to add, let's go ahead and move on to our last segment.
Which is mine. And we're changing it up this week. Instead of a recap, we're going to start having a top 3, and people have the ability to argue why you're stupid or be like, gosh, you're a genius. So this week, just to keep it kind of silly, I went with the top 3 underrated soda pops, or if people in the South, Cokes, because everything here is a Coke.
No, we call it pop.
I'm telling you, it is soda pop. You call it soda, you call it pop, or soda pop.
No, it's pop. Okay. We're going to do the top 3 soda pop. All right. So, who wants to kick this off? Drew, since you're leading, kick us.
This is underrated. So this, I don't want to hear Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, right?
That's what made it interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So my deep cut of soda pops is going to be Welch's Grape. I love the fizzy grape flavor of a Welch's Grape soda.
Welch's makes a soda?
Yes.
I just said it myself. Such a
yeah. It's not. It's just. I mean, it looks just like the Crush one, but I believe it's Welch's.
Oh, okay.
I gotta look this up.
You then have You don't even believe me? That hurts.
Well, it's not about. I just want to see it because I want to try this.
I'm not a big fan of
try
grape soda, unfortunately.
Well, you're wrong. My second would be a delicious Canadian dry ginger ale.
Okay.
And I was stuck between the next two greats, which would be cream soda or cherry 7-Up.
Oh, I do like a good cherry 7-Up.
Right, but for me, I have to go with the versatility of the cream soda.
Yeah, the cream soda.
Quite versatile.
I've got a story about a cherry 7-Up if you want me to.
I want to hear it.
Let's go for it.
Let's hear it.
So I was a very mischievous little monster, and this would have been in 3rd grade or 4th grade or something. I did not want to be at school. It was snowing out. It was nice. It was like at January time and everything. So I put it in my head to be like, oh, I think I was over at, like, we were over at my mom, one of my mom's friends or whatever. We had to spend the night before I got back, or before, like, going into being taken to school. And she had cherry 7-Up. So I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to do with that. So I took one. She was like, yeah, whatever. Lunchtime rolls around. Lunchtime, I went to at elementary school in Sunbury, and it's at Big Walnut. And so the office was right next to the gymnasium where the cafeteria, they converted to the cafeteria and stuff. And we had hamburgers. So I ate most of it, but left half of it. And at the half of the hamburger, I chewed it up in my mouth, took a big old swig of 7-Up and kept it in my mouth. Walked in front of the office, spat it out, threw it up, and went home and got. They called my mom and sent me home.
That's horrific.
Yeah, it is. That's terrible.
Just the sheer mental image. You deserve to be slapped.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to go home.
That's all that matters, right?
Right? Third grade, whatever, 4th grade. Yeah.
Gee. So what are moving on from that? Yeah. Like, guys, what's your top 3 underrated sodas?
Taylor,
let's say, Graham, you want to go there?
Sure. All right. My number 1 out of the Tar Heel state, home state of my mother and aunt, North Carolina, is Cheerwine. You guys ever had?
Okay.
You guys ever had Cheerwine?
Never even heard of it.
Cherry flavored pop. Very good. It's very tasty. If you ever see it, finally you can start to find it some places around here. Very light, refreshing, good cherry flavor. Cheerwine is very good. I try to get it whenever I see it. Number 2 from down south, across the border in Mexico, is Lime Jarrito, which people will fight me on this. I think lime is the best flavor. Pineapple is the runner-up, though. Lime Jarritos are great. If you've never had those, go great with some tacos al pastor, some carnitas. My last from the state of Kentucky, Kentucky, is
Kentucky
Ale 81. Has anybody heard of Ale 81?
Nope.
Or as they like to call it, a late one.
It
is. That's not my thing. That's theirs. It is a kind of ginger ale / lemon lime soda hybrid.
Ooh.
So it's very good too. Yes. So that is from Kentucky. So those are my 3 underrated, maybe not as well known pops. So
I like it.
Okay. Interesting. So I'll lead off with one that's probably a little bit more familiar nowadays, but it wasn't. But Calpis soda, a calcium drink. It's much more of a thing like in Japan and whatnot, and they have a bunch of different flavors. You can get like lychee. That's a pretty common one to get. But it's a calcium soda drink that I really enjoy. Plus, it's always fun to be like, I'm drinking some Calpis, and it sounds like you're saying Calpis.
That was what I thought you said when you first said it. I was like, is this Wisconsin? What's going on here?
It tastes like cheese.
Went to school in Sunbury. What do you want from him?
Yeah, right. That is true. Right.
That is true. Yes.
It is Sombra. the next on the list, I don't know if this would be considered kind of like I felt like this disappeared for a very long time, and then I randomly found it again. But Mellow Yellow, like it
Oh
came back.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I love Mellow Yellow. Like it was something I remember drinking as a kid, and then it kind of like zero candy bars, right? Like,
Oh, the zeros.
yeah,
Yeah.
or like whatchamacallits. They like disappeared for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh hey, those people that were as kids and stuff in the 80s and 90s, they like those. Okay, they're adults. They can actually afford this
Yeah.
stuff
They,
now.
they can buy it now.
They can buy a ton of those. Should get it out there. So that, and then like I didn't really put these necessarily in order, so I guess I would Melio would probably been number one, but the third one I have on here is Big Red. I love Big
Oh,
Red.
I knew someone was gonna say Big Red.
Right out of Texas.
So yeah, I don't know. It's something about that red soda, that Big Red soda that I really
I've
really
ordered
enjoy.
cream soda and I've been given Big Red, and it infuriates me to a level I can't describe.
That's fair.
I think
That
technically,
is very fair.
it is considered like a cream soda.
I
Big
believe
Red
it is.
Yeah.
I believe it is, but it's not. It's
Mm.
not
You're
the
like,
real
this
stuff.
is not what I ordered.
It's just,
Yeah, right. Yeah. Take it back.
do you guys remember? I mean, those sound delicious, and I feel like I should drink most. I do enjoy Mellow Yellow, like some deep cuts. Squirt. You guys ever had
Oh,
a
I remember
squirt,
that.
right? And then the classics of my youth was Kick and Surge.
I remember
Oh,
those,
Surge.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
There's
just
one I used to drink it all the time, and I can't remember the name now, but it had grapefruit in it. It was kind of like a squirt, I think, in the sense, but it was actually really good. And since I had my heart transplant, I'm not allowed to drink or eat anything with grapefruit, and I had to give it up. And
oh wow.
I'm very sad about
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot of like blood medications and stuff, blood pressure and stuff. It's like, yeah, no grapefruit.
Yeah,
It's like,
Wow.
what?
that and blood orange. I can't have any blood orange either because
Mm.
it's a hybrid of orange and grapefruit. So
Hmm. Ooh, what about
Grapefruit doing
what
work
about
on the
Tab?
heart.
You remember Tab? That was a god awful drink right there.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's
That's like the LaCroix of soda
Yeah.
right
Oh,
there.
for that's that's like RC Cola. My stepdad's mom, we had to live with them for a while when I was younger, and she would just have like packs of RC Cola. And we're getting dinner and I was whatever, and I'm like, hey, I'm kind of in the mood for a pop, and she's like, well, we got RC Cola, and I'm like, oh,
RC's not bad. What about I want to say because my wife's grandma would always get this Diet Right. Is that
I remember that.
that's
I
real
remember
then,
that.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is still
Oh,
around
yeah.
too. I mean, maybe she died a few years ago, but like she got that stuff, and I was like, I haven't seen this. Like in my mind, it was just something told in myths and legends. But she comes out of this Kroger, and I forget what town in southern Ohio there, and I'm like, wow, that is a throwback.
Yeah, it is. And of course, they have it in Southern Ohio.
Of course they
that's
do. Yeah.
where they have it advanced. since the
Wilmington. Yeah, it was
50s.
Wilmington. That's the town.
Oh, Fago. You guys remember Fago at all?
I do
Oh, of
remember
course.
Fago.
Yeah.
I never really drank them. The store I used to work in had it. Had a pretty decent selection, but it always had that connection with the Insane Clown Posse. And for like the longest time, I wouldn't drink it because of that. I was like, I'm not a juggalo. I'm not gonna drink Fago. So it always tasted like just cheap pop to me. It was like whatever.
Mm.
So
I'm pretty sure it
Faygo
was.
or just go to Coke. You know.
Yeah, pretty certain it was.
It was a cheaper cola. So
You
my,
got-
my wife loves Coca-Cola. Like that's the
Same here.
guilty
That's my
pleasure for
drink.
her. So she tells me one day, I believe she's pregnant with our first kid. She's like, Drew, if you're going to the store, I need a cola. And now I know in my heart of hearts that means a Coca-Cola, a classic. So I go to Kroger, and right there before me is like a giant liter and a half of cola. Just that's just the name of it. There's not even another brand. So I set that bad boy right front and center, And I did. I'm an intelligent person. She was pregnant. I got a Coca-Cola. And I just hit it.
Yeah.
She opens the door and she's like, she sees just the side of it. You see, she's happy. Then it's like, there better be a Coke somewhere in this house. I was like, didn't you say to get you a cola? Is that not a cola?
Yeah, I mean, you got her there.
Thank you.
I'm the same way. Coca-Cola is my favorite pop of all time. I love it. In my opinion, the best way to drink a Coca-Cola is with real cherry syrup in it. So, you can go get a cherry Coke. They're fine. I like cherry Coke. But you'll go to some restaurants and they'll have the actual cherry syrup that they use in mixed drinks and stuff. And you'll order one and they'll bring that. And I'll end up drinking 6 of them. She'll come by the table every time. It'll be empty. She'll be like, you want another one? I'm like, bring it out. Let's do it. I love them. They're so good.
Did I say stop? Now, I prefer Coke out of a glass bottle. There's something magical about that frosty glass bottle.
So you know what part of it might be? If you're getting the ones that are labeled in Spanish, they actually use cane sugar. Yeah, they use cane sugar in that.
I live in Houston, man.
I know.
They're everywhere.
It's all over.
I heard El Presidente ordered Coke to start putting cane sugar back in, which would be lovely. Look, I would love more real unhealthy things than the stuff we created in a lab somewhere.
What you don't like
when
laboratory grown?
It's supposed to be food.
Cheese slices.
I'm supposed to know what's in it. But everything is a fancy word that was cooked up in a lab, and it's got to be bad for you.
Wait, you don't know what high fructose corn syrup is?
Nope.
Let me pull out this chemical diagram and explain to you.
Dare you? How dare you mock science?
I'm so happy.
Mock science.
Do I think it'll really happen? No. Am I hopeful it does happen? Yes. I would love to have just the regular you can get on the shelf Coca-Cola to have real cane sugar in it again.
I mean, that's it. It's almost every store down here. You just go get it here in Houston.
You can get it most places here too. Now.
Yeah, so, that's good.
You can go to Costco, get 12
it's all
packs
over.
And stuff. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think Kroger in my little town has it there.
Mexican Coke, as we call it.
Hecho en Mexico.
It's
same thing here.
That is the best. That is the best Coke I've ever had. So
the a secret soft spot that I have, they had that with that creamy coconut Dr. Pepper that came out.
I remember you telling
last
me about
year.
This.
Yeah. So it's just it's kind of a softer Dr. Pepper that had a coconut flavor to it, and I was like, you know what, learn a couple squirts of coconut syrup, can of Dr. Pepper, and then shot or two of half and half. Pretty much the same taste. So it's like, okay,
what's
I'm making myself.
It's kind of funny you bring that up. After we talked about this a month ago, something like this.
A month and a half ago. Yeah, a month. Yeah.
My wife was watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. A terrible show, awful. I do not recommend watching it. But they have a soda fountain. There's a bunch of different stores out there. They're a chain out there. They're either called Sip or Swig. I can't
Swig.
remember.
It's Swig.
Yeah, it's their whole thing. Is they add different creamers and flavors and syrups and stuff to soda. And I watched a video, Papa Meat, shout out again. I'm going to shout him out all the time, where he went and got some because he was reviewing the show and making fun of it. And every time he kept saying, "We're sponsored by Swig," and he'd have it in the camera, and then he'd take a drink and he's like, "Oh yeah, Swig." I was like, he was not a fan of it.
My kids love it. The one nice thing about Swig, it's cheap. If you get the kids drink for the kids, $2.25, and you got the drink with a little shark gummy on top. So it's instead of going and getting a small ice cream at Dairy Queen for $5 a kid, you can at least save half your wallet.
Do you guys like slushies or freezies at all? You go to Speedway or whatever your local gas station is, and you get
7-Eleven has the best slushies.
Oh, dude, I'm addicted to those. I could drink those all day. So
I always mix
the cherry and Coke one.
Yeah, I live in Houston. You better get some nice cold beverages in your system.
That's true. Maybe not the healthiest one, but it's damn good. So
Iced cappuccino
It's
from Tim Hortons. Oh,
adjacent to it, but I always really enjoyed I was in Japan. They have like the shaved ice. Um,
mm-hmm.
those always so great when summer was really humid and stuff. But the other thing, because I would go to the Coast Guard, and they would have just a few different like a strip of stalls for different things right by a beach before being able to like be let in to go to the Coast Guard and stuff. Over the summer when I would go there to teach them, they would some of them would like sell frozen chunks of pineapple on a stick.
Oh yeah.
oh, that sounds
It
incredible.
sounds good.
It was just oh, it was just it hit the spot. It's like oh yeah, this is
Because I love pineapple.
Yeah, it's
some
good. Now, on your shaved ice, have you ever had condensed milk put in there?
Ooh, that sounds good.
Dude, I didn't know it was a thing. I
Hmm.
forget the terminology the locals down here were using. I'm like, what is what you just got? She's like, oh, it's got condensed milk. And I'm like, okay, I'll try that. And oh, man, like it's a meal
Huh.
in and of itself, but it's good.
Okay.
It makes me think of Vietnamese iced coffee. They use
Ooh,
sweetened
okay.
condensed milk in theirs,
Okay.
and it's really good. Yeah, it's really good. So
Sweetened
no,
condensed milk, huh?
yeah, it's pretty tasty in coffee. So I made them there for a while. It's incredibly unhealthy, but it's very tasty. So I'll tell you the thing I'm addicted to because I pretty much only drink coffee if it's cold. McDonald's, one of the worst fast food restaurants ever, has probably the best mocha frappe on earth.
You
Taylor
were
and I
telling
had a
me
conversation, probably a 10-minute conversation about this a while ago. Like,
No, we didn't have a 10-minute conversation.
I had a
We had
10 I
we
had
had
a
an
10-minute.
8-minute directional about how amazing it is, and I'm like, that's whatever, dude.
It's so good. It's like slide in there $5, get yourself one. It beats the crap out of anything Starbucks makes. It's awesome. So, but all right,
Whatever
guys,
makes
I
you
think
happy, buddy.
All right.
it
Yeah.
does. So, um,
Yeah, you gotta have those little bits of joy.
we're just a touch over an hour, so I think we're good to wrap it up. Anybody want anything they want to add? No. All right.
No. I think I'm pretty well beat this week.
It's
Yeah, I hear that. So
Only
all
3
right
days ago.
then. Yeah, it feels like 7. So
yeah, right.
all right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed the show, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you have comments or want to put your favorite pop soda, I said soda more than pop, so I kind of called myself out this episode. Drop a comment below. Let us know what your favorites are, what you thought of the episode, if there's anything you'd like us to talk to about in the future, maybe. You can also follow us on X and Instagram at LifeAround40Pod. We're going to be putting updates, some behind the scenes stuff up there, and try to put our episode releases there. That way you can kind of keep up with us. I've been throwing some stuff up there here and there. I'd like to pick it up a little more, speed it up, get some more content, but it's one of those slow grind kind of deals. So, but we'll get there. So, all right then, guys. Thanks for coming in. It was a good conversation.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
All right.
Toodaloos. Thank you for the conversation.
Bye.